Ladies and gentlemen, those who are viewing in the audience, we are back once again for UKSM Winter. It's the third run of the day, and we are back with the BPG13 in Pursuit Force Extreme Justice Act 1. As usual, we're trying to raise money for the fantastic special effect. So if you do want to help us raise money for that brilliant charity, all you need to do is !donate in the chat. If you've been sticking around this whole time, you would have seen some videos of what the sort of things that Special Effect have been doing. Brilliant work bringing custom gaming peripherals to disabled people so that they can play the video games that they want to play, how they want to play them. With all that said, I will hand things over to the BPG13. He'll introduce his run. Just remember to give me that countdown so I can start the timer.
No problem. But hello again. I know you saw me 5 minutes ago, but hello. BPG13 Viper. Hello. But yeah, this is the sequel to the run you just saw, Pursuit Force Extreme Justice, that came out in 2007. Just to quickly mention a few things as well about this game. So a few things changed between the first and the second game. Of course, they usually do in most games this day and age. I'll have done for like the last 20 years or so. But in this game, the whole justice bar thing, which, like I said, you could only activate that justice bar, extreme, Pursuit Force, I don't know what it was, the meter thing. You could only activate that when it was full, so you had to do stuff to fill it up, and then you could only use it when it was full. That was the only time you could use it. If you were halfway full, you couldn't use it. In this game, they added the feature of using it whenever you wanted, so you can fill it up and use it at full meter like you would in the first game. You actually have the ability to use the meter as and when you wanted, as long as there was some meter stuff in it, so to speak. This also introduced a load of new gangs into this game, and the biggest change of all is that after the first game, the character you were playing as, which was a police officer, becomes a commander. He's known as Commander in the game. He's not actually got a name. It starts off at the start of the game that him and the helicopter pilot called Sarah, I don't remember her second name, but Sarah something, they got married. And unfortunately, on their big day, which is where the story starts in Act 1, the convicts escape and a load of gangs have set themselves in at Capital City. This is apparently the same city as the first game with a lot of changes, but I'm pretty sure the map feels entirely new to me. There probably is parts and stuff like that. There's a lot of gangs and things like that. So we will get into this. So this is actually, we're going to start with the big day and we're going to work our way through all of the missions. So if we're ready on time, I'll give you a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so again, similar to the first game, we've actually got a few things. So nice glitch. Might want to get rid of this. I might have to just quickly reset the run because the emulator's not doing its job. I might have to just reset. 1 second. There was one thing I didn't do, and it was change.
Would you like me to reset time as well?
Yeah, if that's okay. It'll take me like 2 minutes to get back up to scratch, so that's a false start.
Yeah,
I
no,
apologise.
that's fine.
I knew there was something I hadn't done. So this game only seems to work. I am playing this emulation just so people are aware, but this game only seems to work properly if you're on DirectX 9. Anything higher than that, and it doesn't like working on it. So hopefully now, with a bit of luck. Anyway, like I said, I've explained most of the story anyway. I'll just quickly turn off autosave, because autosave being disabled, it does save you time. Right, so we'll go again. I'll give you another countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Okay, so now properly we get into the proper way this time, and the game should actually look decent. There we go. There we go. Anyway, like I said, so now we have, you'll notice as well that the HUD is completely different from the first game. The other thing is as well, is you'll now notice that we have some new characters. That is because Pursuit Force, Pursuit Force Extreme Justice, you actually had backup with you. So in the first game, it was, the commander was a one-man army. In this game, you get a few people to help you. So you have Breach, who, as you've seen, who's a specialist in heavy machinery, as they say. So what I want to make sure I do here is I want to make sure that I kill these guys like so. This is actually quite an easy bit of the first part of the story. So I want to make sure that we stop Billy Wilde. So Billy Wilde is actually the lieutenant in the first. He's the lieutenant to Hardballs, and Hardballs is actually the he's the guy from the first game, but he's turned around and gone, I'm gonna escape from prison on your wedding day, and I'm gonna make your life an absolute hell. Like I said, with Meter, it becomes really easy. Extremely easy. So we are playing this on the easiest difficulty. Yeah, so that's the first mission done and dusted. So we actually need to use this bounty mode here. This is how you play just like one individual act. And the entire story is about, I think it's about, oh god, 3.5 hours, kind of. I mean, New Game Plus, which is about 250-ish, 240, I believe. It's a lot quicker than the regular game. So playing the game through casually will take like 3.5 to 4 hours. There's an any percent category for this game, which is just where you have to watch all the cutscenes. The New Game Plus category for this is basically available. It's a bit weird. It's one of them games where I'm sure that everybody knows games like this, where when you play a game the first time round, you've got to watch all the cutscenes. When you play it the second time, you're able to skip the cutscenes. I'm pretty sure people know games that are like that. This is one of those games. When you play the game through for the first time, or you don't have a save file, you have to watch all the cutscenes, which is the regular any percent. The New Game Plus, it allows you to skip all the cutscenes. And the other thing is as well, is that in the bouncy mode, which is what we're doing here, you're able to skip all the cutscenes for everything, which is really good. So obviously it makes this run as fast as possible. Also, you've already met Preach. He's the heavy arm specialist. We've obviously already met the convicts. We've met them as they're in their updated form. But now we're going to have a new gang show up. So this actually shows, the first act shows 3 gangs, although you only meet one for like one mission. So the convicts are in 2 of these missions, and a new gang known as the convicts are 2 missions with a new gang known as the Raiders, which are a bunch of supposedly pirates, like I think as the game would call it, redneck pirates, but I'm not 100% sure about it. But they're like literally like the pirates of, they're always trying to get equipment and stuff like that. Also, you can, like I said, you can use the meter as and when you want to, which is always a nice thing. But not only that, not only can you use meter as and when you want to, like I said, you've got all new vehicles in this game, there's new weapons and things like that. So we're going to make sure that we kill these guys as much as possible. So, because we're on the easy difficulty, like I said, we can easily blow these guys up. You may have noticed as well that there was a girl with us that you keep seeing, the one who just said, I'm beginning to enjoy this. So that is a member of the pursuit force called Ashley. And Ashley is part of the story, just like all the guys are. So that big thing you've just seen, that massive, you know, that huge thing we've just seen, it's pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty crazy. I don't think anything coming up on my left. I think it's on my left. Here we go. So you can actually use, if you want to, you can actually use the meter to your advantage, which is quite convenient. So like I said, because of the fact that we can use we can use the meter as and when we want to. You know, we're able to do whatever we want. Also, something though is when you get to about 2 miles, you can actually then set off. This is going to drop. They're going to drop these guys here. You don't have to worry about these guys. You can easily just go past them like so. And like I said, as long as we get to the end point, again, similar to the first one, we're actually leaving the thing behind. We're just going to leave him behind. Like, sorry, I'm going to leave you behind. We've got plenty of time, so it's fine. Nice and easy. So that is Skull and Crossbones, and we've, like I said, we've met the Raiders for the first time. So now we have Science in Motion. So if you remember, in the first game, we had a minigun section. Yeah, there's a few parts in this. Now this actually has the addition of the zoom feature, which is really good. It's quite useful. The minigun segments were vastly improved over the original game. Another thing is, which you may have seen as well, is that if, for example, if you end up, having to shoot like a certain amount, of guys, then, well, it's not a certain amount, but a certain amount of, what is it? Not a certain amount of guys. Like, you fill the meter enough, you can actually unlock something called Justice Rockets. Which, I missed that. That's a shame. So, hopefully we get this guy. Yep, there we go. There we go. Right, so, I'll give me about, like, 30-40 seconds to do this. So, at this point, I have to actually wait until I get to the end. So, until them 300 and a bit miles are up, which it takes about 30-40 seconds, give or take, depending. So, I can easily talk. I don't have to shoot or anything like that. So, with the minigun segment, they obviously included a zoom feature with this. You're able to shoot something called Justice Rockets. Provide, like, now we have the full bar, the full meter. When you have full meter, you can use Justice Rockets, and Justice Rockets are overkill and a half. They're so good to use, like really good to use. If you get like combo system going, a good combo system, and everything like that, like kill several enemies in a row, you easily fill the meter up, and you can easily get, like, get full meter. And it's quite useful when, quite useful when you do it. Also, introducing Gage. So, Gage is the guy in the passenger seat, or the guy that's on the screen right now. So Gage is actually one of our, again, he's going to be accompanying us on some of these missions. Sarah's going to go back to base, as she said. So we've now got to get these guys. Yeah, going to get these guys, going to give them a thrashing. So, because we've got meter, what we've got to make sure we do here is we can actually shoot this guy. Because there's two of us as well, it means we can easily get rid of the rear guard. And to stop this bus, apparently, supposedly, anyway, we've got to make sure that we've got to make sure that we hit them a lot. So the whole point of this mission is to hit the bus a lot. And because you've got brute force as well, you can actually quite easily get them as well. So we'll get them before the end, it's no problem. But like I said, we can't stop them because it's bulletproof. But if you can get them going on a certain path, and I obviously didn't expect this, but here we are. Come on, keep going. The Gage is going to do me a good favour here. There we go. And we stopped it. Very nice. So that's the bus stopped. And we've got it. Didn't get some good points there, but that's fine. Right, so allow me to introduce another, like I said, the first act of this game really is you have several missions that you do. So you have like your typical mission, like the first mission is just jumping between cars and killing the bad guys. Second one is on a hovercraft, which is a new vehicle in this game. Science in Motion, obviously, you ram in vehicles and stuff like that. Something that you wouldn't do in any of the other games. Well, in the previous game. And now we have a defense mission. So what we've got to do here is we've got to make sure that this guy here does not get on the, well, doesn't, if he gets too close to the front, then we're in major trouble. So we've got to make sure that we kill these guys as fast as possible. There are a couple of guys, and they will try and jump on our vehicle, so we have to make sure we shake them off. Obviously, you don't want to go too slow because, if you go too slow, then they'll easily kill you. You really just want to make sure that they don't get a hold of you, don't jump on the vehicle or anything like that. So for this one, it's just literally making sure that you can you know, make sure you blow them all away and get rid of them all. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to just keep shaking these guys off. If he gets too close to the front, then what ends up happening is he ends up then, he starts shooting you, and yeah. It's not game over per se, but it's not great. It doesn't look good, let's just put it that way. I also have to make sure that this truck, sorry, makes it. Unfortunately, because it's the Raiders, they're easily going to try and kill me. But again, thankfully, what you can end up doing is you can survive on the tiniest bit of health, as you can see here. So we're going to survive on what will be the tiniest bit of health in the entire world. There we go. And we got rid of the Raiders off our back. See, the reason that you can survive off the tiniest bit of health there is because in a second now, we've now got to defend this truck. So Ashley's now going to drive the truck. It's going to get full health. It repairs itself for some reason. And now what we've got to do is defend this. So now we're in the back of the truck and everything like that. We've actually now got to make sure that whatever happens, you know, need to make sure that we defend it with all our life. It's actually quite an easy segment. Just keep an eye on the guys jumping on the truck. You need to make sure that they don't jump on the truck. Also, like I said, with me, you can easily destroy these guys. Pretty easy. There we go. There we go. Sweet. There we go. I'm surprised I actually dealt with them bikers that early, to be honest. That's always a nice thing. So eventually, it's going to get pretty hectic in a second. Because we're going to have helicopters, there's going to be cars and everything. I think it's about here in a second when the car starts following from behind. I'm not sure. Oh, in any second now. There we go.
What could possibly be in the truck that's so special?
There we go. There we go. So this is the bit where it gets a bit hectic. Also, I'll make sure that that's fine if I get that gets away. Just make sure that whatever happens, you can actually kill Ashley. She's very weak, so you're easily able to shoot her. Then you also want to make sure that the truck doesn't blow up, and that you don't die either. So, he can easily kill us. So I'm going to make sure that I'm using as little amount as possible. There we go. There we go. Nice. Nice and easy. I'm pretty sure near the end here, there's a load of raiders that end up turning up. Like I said, this is pretty much a defense... There we go. Pretty much a defense mission. There we go. Just need to make sure they don't kill me. They will try and kill Ashley if they get a chance. You have to make sure they don't. And I think we're all clear. Yeah, we are. We're all clear. Good stuff. So, with them missions done and dusted, we now move on to mission 5, also known as Achieving New Heights. Now, allow me to introduce another new gang in this game. So, like I said, for the most part, the warlords and the convicts are back in this game, so they made a return. Convicts got out of prison again, and the army managed to reform itself. But now that introduces a few new gangs, with a hidden gang coming at the end of the game, which I won't spoil. I'd rather let people play the game for themselves and find out for themselves. But you get introduced to two new gangs. So the first one, as you met already, is the Raiders. This is the second gang, and like I said, you only play the one mission in Act 1. You play a lot more of their missions, I believe, in Act 2 or 3 of the game. But this is the Syndica. The Syndica are a bunch of English bank robbers that are hell-bent on causing destruction. And I'll be honest, the accents that they have are comical, I guess, to put it blunt. But obviously, depending on where, obviously, if you're from London, well, we don't say anything like that. Obviously, you've got different areas of London, stuff like that. But it's the typical voice, accent, whatever it is, that you hear well, when you think of like London, usually you have like a typical, typical accent, and people think, oh, they all sound the same. You know what I mean? They all sound like this if you're from London, or if you're from Scotland, you all sound like this. So they went with the typical Cockney accent from London. I'm guessing, unless these guys that made the game were in London, at which point that's fair. But I also like the Syndicate for a different reason. So the Syndicate's logo is actually a Union Jack, but it's in green and orange instead of red, white, and blue. And not only that, most of the cars they drive are like British oriented or typical, not typical British cars, but like for example, they have like a sports car, like a convertible that's in front of us. That looks similar to like a Bentley Continental. You've also got like a Mercedes knockoff and stuff, so that one that's there right in front of us. So these guys are all going to try and clear off and everything like that, and they are going to probably slow down in a second. Yeah. So what we need to make sure we do here is you've got 12 seconds to try and make it, and you can actually jump ahead of these guys. As long as you get to this marker here, we can start chasing them. Turns out these guys are now robbing the bank, robbing all the gold from the bank, and it's now our job to chase them down. Also, introducing the new Undercover Police Car. This is you don't use it too often, but it's a pretty good vehicle. I quite like it. Also, you got your typical Brit. So we're actually going to go after this car here first, because I think I was saying before about rubber banding. So the other car that's behind me right now, there we go. That was really good. This guy actually rubber bands to you, and you want to make sure that, like I said, for the sakes of everything else, you can turn around and go, right, well, I need to get hold of another car. So I'm actually going to go after this Merc up here, this car here. And the guy's going to rubber band up to me, which is really good. There we go. I got the right car, nice. So I'm going to shoot this guy, hopefully he'll clear off. Just need to make sure I take these guys down. There we go. I think I may have accidentally just killed the driver there. Yeah, I have. Okay. So, wasn't quite fast enough with that. That's fine. Come on, come on. Catch up. There we go. Oops. No! That was the wrong one. I mean to jump to the bike. I meant to jump to the car. There we go. You have to so like on certain cars, you have to make sure you capture the cars and not anything else. There we go. You want to make sure that you capture the cars and not destroy them. So in some missions, it'll be like, you can capture the cars or you can destroy them. In some missions, though, you have to capture them. You can't destroy them. As much fun as it probably is to destroy them, yeah, you probably don't want to do that. Anyway, introducing the finale of Act 1. So we actually get our first on-foot section in this mission. So, unfortunately, the on-foot controls are not the best. There is a couple of guys as well in this one. That was good. That was actually really well timed. So I need to make sure that get these guys. So you have to kill all 23 guys. You need to make sure at least one of these guys gives you a weapon. And there is going to be a guy in a second. Come on, there's got to be a guy that's going to come running. There is. Nice. Make sure you kill these guys up here. And get her as well over there. Although my accuracy is anything to be believed. There we go. Get rid of him. Like I said, my accuracy is not the best. Hopefully Preacher will give me a bit of cover fire. There we go. So, they're actually stealing weapons grade uranium. And these are called the Striker Twins. And if you're unlucky, then it's basically game over there. So I need to make sure that whatever happens now is that I kill these guys completely. So they have like a quick time event for this. There we go. Nice. You got him. So, as you may have seen already, that we've got full meter. And once, like I said, you have to kill them 23 guys that are in there. And once they're dead, you end up going after the striker twins. So, if you remember correctly, or if you remember from the last one that we did, the last run that we did, that we have sub-bosses, like a lieutenant of some kind of the gang, and then you've got like the main boss. These guys are basically that. Yeah, these guys are basically that. They're basically like the lieutenants or sub-lieutenants. What you have to do is you have to make sure that these guys, you make sure that you stop them. So these guys are going to try and destroy my car. I'm not going to let them. But if I can fire with enough power, then what will end up happening is they'll turn around and they'll end up jumping on one bike like this. And it makes it a lot easier for me to kill them. So you have to get them down to, I think it's like 3 bars of health or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But something like that. The other thing is as well is it doesn't matter which bike you shoot. It'll always end up her on the back and he will always be riding the bike. For some odd reason, that doesn't always happen. Also, in this cutscene, now we're on a plane. So what happened in that cutscene was she ends up getting stuck in the quad bike and gets sucked into she gets sucked into the jet engine. Also, it turns out that this is a warlord plane, and we've now got to defeat Travis, who's the guy we're trying to make sure we kill him. So it's one of these fights where you have to make sure he doesn't get you first. You have to go for him. Also, time is going to be in a second, so be ready on time. Time! There we go. And that is it. That's Act 1. Like I said, it ends with like a little mini boss in a way, like the lieutenant or sub boss for the gang. But the thing is, unlike in the first game, so in the first game you had 6 missions per gang, and usually around Act 3, or sorry, the third mission out of them 6 on every single one, you'd always encounter the sub-lieutenant, sub-boss, the lieutenant, whatever, of the gang. You'd have to kill them, and then the last mission would obviously be the gang, the boss of the gang. In this game, it's different, because this actually takes, even though the first game has a story, this one is more story-driven. Like, the whole game, how it's all based on, like, all the missions and stuff like that, it basically follows quite close, a typical story structure. But the thing is, as well, is that you're able to defeat certain gangs and bosses in advance. Like, there's certain acts at the end of certain acts, shall we say, that you can defeat, like the head of the Warlords or the head of the Syndica, or in some acts you can even defeat 2 or even 3 bosses. A sub boss and the big boss at the end of it. So there's that. The other thing is you can also upgrade your character during this run. Well, not during the Act 1 runs or anything like that, not the individual acts, but any percent in the new game, the main meat potatoes, the full game, you can upgrade your character as you go, so you get skill points. There's a certain way of doing it if you want to do it, but for the time being, it's one of them that I usually forget like half the time which one I'm spending my points on and when. But with the acts and everything like that, you're always assigned the skill points that you used when you were playing the story through the first time, I believe. So you have to kind of be a bit careful with that one. So like at the end of Act 1, what upgrades did you have? And it's like, okay, you had that many upgrades, right? We'll do that. But yeah, that's Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. Like I said, there's a full game that you can go and try. There's obviously individual acts. Act 1 is the easiest. It's quite easy to get game saves and stuff like that if you want to try out and practice yourself. Would recommend playing, if you've got this game on PSP itself, would recommend using a PSP Go. Simply because of the fact that the PSP Go for this game anyway, or maybe in the PS Vita, is a lot more powerful, and you can actually run the game on them consoles if you can get hold of them. But if not, you can run it on the original PSP. Would recommend using an emulator if you are running the game normally anyway. And normally I wouldn't recommend an emulator for a games console, but in this case I would, because the game runs pretty harsh on an original PSP. I don't mean like the PSP 1000, I mean like that range, like PSP 1000, 2000, and the 3000. It runs pretty harsh. Clearly showing how far they were really pushing the graphics on the PSP then. Yeah, if you're interested, there is a Pursuit Force Discord you can find, and it's on both of the pages as well. And like I said, I would definitely recommend giving it a try. If you're into like action stuff like that, yes, there is an emphasis on driving, but there's a shooting part of it. There's a bit of action with the jumping between things, and the story is quite nice to play through. If you ever want to just play through something new casually, it's quite a nice game to pick up and play. You might struggle more with the first game than the second game, in my opinion. But if you play through both, you'll completely understand the story from start to finish, is what I'll say. Start with the first and go with the second. If you want to play just the easier game of the two, play this one. It is easier. Yes, it takes like 3.5, 4 hours to beat the game. Maybe a bit longer, but it's better than taking like 6 or 7 hours on the first game when the game can be beaten in like 2.5, 3 hours, if you get what I mean. And that's not from a speedrun point of perspective, that's just casually. Obviously, it depends on skill level and everything, but yeah, final thing I want to say is thank you to UKSM for having me, for allowing me to run both Pursuit Force games, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon. Thank you very much.
Well, with all that said, the rest of the marathon is still yet to come. Next, we've got It's Mild playing Spyro the Dragon Reignited Trilogy in the any percent NBS category. So, if you'd like to stick around for that, it'll be starting in about 5 minutes or so. In the meantime, I'm going to hand you over to some videos that we've received from Special Effect themselves, detailing what they do for the disabled people that they help. So please do watch those, because it will really enlighten you as to why we're trying to raise some money for this fantastic charity. See you all again soon.